Hello everyone, Jeff and Derek here with A Taste for Whiskey, and today we are taking a left turn.
Very left. Or south of the border. We're going south for the month of May, right?
That's exactly right.
I'm a little late for Cinco de Mayo, but...
So one of the things we always talk about is, we always talk about we're bourbon enthusiasts, but we like whiskey, we like, rye, scotches, Irish whiskeys.
Fine spirits.
Fine spirits.
Wherever they come from.
There you go. I like that. Speaking of fine spirits, we're going to talk about mezcals this week. And actually, we're going to be sampling those at our tasting. So what we want to do is kind of go into this a little bit and talk to you a little bit about what we've discovered with this mezcal.
Yeah. So I've always kind of been, aged spirits, right? So then somebody said, well, maybe I can change your mind. And my first thought was, I'll try it. Why not? But probably not. I'm thinking there's no way. So as I start learning a little bit more about it, and I start realizing everything that goes into mezcals and what makes them, it's kind of an amazing process and thing that they do. And you learn a little bit more about that, right? Yeah.
So the interesting thing, if I was to take like a little book and as far as what we know about American whiskey, it'd be, we'd set it up here and it'd be a nice big read. But what I'm finding when we start talking about mezcals, it'd be like this, lifting it up and sticking it up here to try to get in all the information and sort of the historical nature of mezcal and some of the things that you can learn about it. So it's extremely complex. So I want to apologize right now. We're going to do the best with some of the words and how we speak them correctly. But what we're going to do is just very quickly talk to you about something that I didn't know, and that is the difference between tequila and mezcal. Did you know that tequila is a mezcal, but not all mezcals is tequila? That's one of the first things that are different between mezcals and tequilas. A couple other things that I found interesting is mezcal is actually made in 8 different regions, but mostly, here's the first one, hopefully we get this right. It's basically comes mostly from Oaxaca, which is the highest producing state where mezcal comes from. Whereas tequila can only be made in 5 regions, with the majority of that coming from Jalisco. And that is the highest producer for tequila. And we just want you to know that because tequila comes from a specific place and that it has to be blue agave. In order to be called tequila, you have to be blue agave. Whereas mezcal there's over 150 varieties of different types of agaves. And typically, mezcal can come from 30 different varieties of agaves.
What I found interesting is the agave, I had no idea. These things are they start harvesting them anywhere from like 15 to 35 years or something.
Absolutely.
And after they cut all the leaf things off of them, they can weigh up to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
They're gigantic. I had no idea. Yeah.
It's just learning about this. There's just so much. And another thing that the most interesting thing between mezcal and tequila is that mezcal is actually cooked in in pits. That's deep cut, cut into the earth that's lined with wood and lava rock. So that then basically they put in the piñas, or the heart of the agave, and then it's cooked for several days where they basically fill it back up, and then they wait for a few days, or several days actually, for it to cook, and then they come in and pull those off. Whereas tequila is actually cooked in large stainless steel ovens called autoclaves, and then it's distilled. So a big difference between mezcal and tequila.
Much more industrial type with the tequila, right?
That's exactly what I was saying. Mezcal is very village oriented, very much an artisan type of a distillery. Lots of generations goes into distilling this, and really some very cool things that they can do.
And the history and how each one of them does it. You could just spend days.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm ready to try one.
Yeah, so we can go into this. So what we have that we want to talk about is these 3 different ones, which is really the best way to describe these is based on the color. you know. So we have this first one here is what? Mezcal Vago is the actual brand. And then this one is the elote.
So we're starting with elote, right?
And the elote, now the cool thing with these labels is you can actually, everything is on the label, because one of the things that Mezcal Vago is really known for is, you know, each one of these labels has its own Mezcalero. Did I say that correctly?
Mezcalero.
Mezcalero, there we go.
Master distiller, right?
Yes, AKA the master distiller. And
we probably both got it wrong.
So it's very much a, you know, each one of these has its own master distiller, if you will, that puts their heart and soul. And some of these are recipes that are generations, you know. So this elote is basically going to be, it's distilled 3 times. With the first distillant, you know, it runs through and they clean it up. And then the second distillation, after the second distillation, they add roasted corn in the copper still, and basically they let that infuse, and then they distill it a 3rd time. So this actually is used. They use espadín as their main agave, and then it is then has infused roasted corn. So what do you get on this?
Well, you know, I do kind of get those corn notes. It might be because you said corn a couple times, but just that agave plant, you know, I don't have a lot of experience with this, but I mean, what better place to start than with this? And if you have this in a tasting and you're kind of curious about this, it's nice to have something else other than just bourbon sometimes. You know, you want just something different, or you have some company over, and how about a good mezcal, right?
Absolutely. And the thing is that these are non-aged. So these basically come out of the still, and we're basically going right into the bottle. So really this is meant for, it's considered a high quality, you know, character rich spirit, you know, because of what they do. And it is very archaic. You know, I think even it even talks to you about how it's grind. The grind on this is through stone, you know, where, and if you've seen some of the videos, what they do is they actually have a donkey that takes a stone and it just crushes and goes in and grinds up the agave. So it's just really overall interesting. The proof on this is going to be 50%, so it's 100 proof, 50% ABV. So yeah, let's see where we, cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
And, so yeah, that roasted corn comes through.
Yeah, it's
you
kind
get
of minty.
Some mintiness, and then there's a little bit of a vanilla. But one of the things that you can't get away from is that smokiness that you're going to get from where they do the basically they cook them in the earth.
Yeah, and it just smokes.
It just smokes it.
And
It just
they
sits
caramelize down there.
Absolutely. You know, and I can understand why they mean, so, you know, when you think of moonshine from an American spirit, you know, this is just so much richer, more viscous, a lot more flavor than I would even consider moonshine.
Yeah.
You know?
No, the smoke isn't dominant, though. It's there, but it's not so strong that you have trouble sifting through that and getting to some other flavors, like the vanilla, and I kind of get a mint. And it just is like that kind of plant.
Yeah, it's really...
Not vegetable, but plant.
It's really nice. You know,
fresh.
Absolutely. You know, and again, when you're talking about Mezcal Vago, and the bottles are really cool. They're very authentic looking to me. And when we go into this blue one here, which is the espadín, you know, basically this is going to be a different Mastolero, different distiller. So you're using the same agave, but now you've got a different take on it. And for this particular one, again, these are all unaged spirits. And this one here, I believe, it's going to be just a little bit higher proof maybe on this one.
So when they have those pits that they kind of cook all that in, right? And cover it with dirt and earth and let it sit and smoke. Do they throw everything in there then?
Yeah.
Corn if they want?
No. So that would actually go in the pot or in
That's in the pot.
The pot still. So when they actually do the distillation. So this actually is, again,
see the proof on it. 50.9.
So this is going to be just a smidgen higher. Again, this is stone ground. This is going to also be a copper still, and so not infused. So this is just the Espadine agave.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're going to struggle with this.
So this is a lot different on the nose.
This is yes.
So this is going to be where now if you look this up, this is going to have some awards. This is going to have a lot of awards, and this is going to be just. I have not seen any awards on this, but again, this
fruit notes out of this.
Yes, that's exactly it. This feels like this is going to be my wheelhouse right here. A little fruity.
Yes, this is a wonderful.
Not so much. Don't get any of that smoke that we're going to get off of the elote. So
that smoke is missing on this.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Cheers. Mm-hmm. This really reminds me of this really is that agave flavor.
Yeah.
You know, I really get the fruit or the agave notes. Not a lot of smoke on this. Very rich. Really full flavor on this.
It is. I mean,
I really like this one.
Yeah,
folks. This is really nice.
They're different though. I do.
Totally
I do
different.
kind of like that hint of smoke in this one.
And that roastiness that you get, that corn note. I really, what I love about this, and so really with the mezcals did not start growing until 2011. 2010, you wouldn't have seen a mezcal in a bar. But what you're seeing just with like bourbon and rye, this thing is booming. And so actually, they're really kind of struggling now to keep these up. And these are going to be a lot more pricier than your tequilas because of the art, the labor intense that goes into these.
They're not just hammered out in a.
That's exactly right.
Factory, right.
So these are ones.
These are made with love.
Made with love and meant to
taste
sip. Exactly. So, you know, it's been suggested if you want to make a cocktail to use half mezcal and half tequila, but these are really meant to be enjoyed as is, you know, the way that the Mezcalero has kind of developed those. So the third one, and this is really the most interesting to me, and this is, I'm not, it's going to be hard to say the Ensemble in Barrow.
Hey, that works for me.
Let's just basically this is a blend of 4 different agaves. So you got the majority of this is going to be Espadine, about 42%. Then you also got, if I say these correctly, Mexicano, Coyote, and the 4th one is Burrell. We'll go with that. But the cool thing about this is ground by hand. This thing is ground by hand.
So they call this one Maguey, right?
Maguey, yeah. So it's 100% Maguey, which means agave. And this batch was only 369 liters. So this one is really the coolest. With the type of still is clay. So this one here is by far the most interesting of the group, just because it's hand ground, it's distilled through clay, and the pot still is clay essentially. And I'm just really excited to try this.
Well, these are all just so unique. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And to look at the way they do this, it almost, I mean, it's just like your bourbons and your Irish whiskeys and scotches, where it sounds like these processes just go back so long and generations pass these down, right? And,
absolutely.
And just,
it's
another rabbit hole.
It really is.
If you want to find another one to.
And really really wanted to try to keep this at 10 minutes, but you can't just speed this along with the amount of, with what these are and the complexity of these and the historical nature that these provide. There's just so much to talk about. So very quickly we'll go into this, but I tell you what makes this interesting, and this is going to be the most expensive, just obviously with it being hand ground. It's distilled through a a clay pot distillation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is about as, you know, generational and cultural as you can get right here. Oh, this one has notes of mint. I get some really earth, just earth notes.
Earth, mineral,
yeah.
Earth. That's where I was at with this one.
Wow. All right, my friend, let's see what the palate is. So here's what makes this really nice. I can't help but appreciate the historical nature of this, and I can't help but appreciate the amount of labor that goes into this. And you know, I want to repeat that this was only 369 liters, this batch, and each one of these, every batch is going to be different. This is really good. I get that mintiness a little bit. I get some earth notes. It really coats the palate. I don't know, anything to add to that?
Well, you know, it just mineral. It's kind of got like that mint definitely sits there on this one. It's kind of that mineral, kind of like, I don't know, is it because it's from a clay pot? I don't know if it's because you said that or if I just have it and I have it in my head now, but it is refreshing. And it kind of reminds you of just like a river or something.
Folks, I tell you,
I don't know.
I enjoy these. You know what I enjoy most about these is just the appreciation of art, the appreciation of spirit, and when it goes back and you consider this artisanal mezcals, you know, it's very much what it says here. It's considered a high quality, character rich spirit, and I 100% agree with that.
You can tell these are not cheap.
No
spirits. They're not cheaply made. They're high quality.
A lot of love that goes into this.
They're unique and they're new.
Yes,
to me, but you can just taste and smell the quality of it.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we would just love to say that please join us at our next tastings. Get a chance to try these. Very, very unique, very interesting. Really love the historical nature of these, and we just love to see you as we kind of dive into the world of mezcals. Thank you so much, and cheers.
Cheers.